Hey guys, Angry Monkey here, and I want to talk about Dead Rising. So, for those who know me, know that Dead Rising is one of my favorite video games of all time. Like it's most likely in my top 10. I just adore that game. But I feel like I need to address the remake coming out. For those who don't know, later this year they're coming out with the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, I think they're calling it. And as the name implies, they are doing a remaster of the original Dead Rising game. So Dead Rising came out in 2006. And, well, I guess video games have changed a little bit since 2006. And I know that a lot of video games have, I don't know, they're kind of adapting different things for the modern audience. I've seen that already in some of the examples off the top of my head that I know of is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. They've changed some dialogue. Persona 3, they changed or removed a line from that. The Dragon Quest remakes, I know they've changed some stuff in that. The Silent Hill 2 remake, I know there's been a lot of complaints about that with some of the changes they've made, and now I'm seeing that with this Dead Rising game as well. So that's 5 games off the top of my head that have come out in the last year, not even year, pretty much since the year started. And I mean, I get it that there's some things that were said or done in some of those games that aren't necessarily appropriate now, but to me, that's a form of censorship that, well, I'm not really for censorship anyway. I mean, maybe, I guess, like I said, if it involves like children in some way, okay, maybe some of that should be censored. But the way I see it, this is a remaster, not a remake. Well, maybe the Persona might have been a remaster. I don't know, or a remake. But this Dead Rising game is supposed to just be a remaster, which means all you're doing is changing the controls to make them not as clunky and make the graphics look as good as they can be. And I will say that from what I've seen of this, I've not played this new version yet. I know there's some people that have gotten early access, like build of the game or whatever, and played through a little bit of it. And so I might have some pictures or some clips from some stuff that I found online. I've not played it, so I can't confirm on how the controls feel, but people say the controls feel so much better. And there's quality of life improvements in this game that make this game sound like the greatest thing ever. So some of the stuff that I found is, well, I mean, for one, you can just see these pictures here or the small clip, whatever I'm able to find to post there. It looks nice. The mall looks amazing. They've emphasized certain themes, like adding some extra water themes in the Paradise Plaza or in the Wonderland Plaza. They make it look more like an amusement park than what they did in the original. And that looks amazing. This all looks so beautiful. They've also supposedly improved on the AI stuff when you're escorting survivors. So they don't like just fall on their knees and cry every time there's a zombie. They don't just run into walls all the time. These people are actually, I don't know, intelligent. Now they might still behave differently. Like apparently Aaron still cries, but not as bad. And that's a huge improvement. That's like the one thing. Like, man, if they would have just made the AI smarter in this game, like you would have had like like a 10 out of 10 game. But the AI really holds it back from being like a perfect score. I mean, some people probably enjoy the challenge, the stress or whatever, but to me, I think that's dumb to make a game hard for no reason. That's just me. I've always been that way of like, you didn't have to do it that way and the game would have just been more enjoyable. But they're doing that. They're making the AI respond better. In fact, they even have it to where certain characters might have a certain weapon that they want to use. Like hey, I want a handgun, or hey, give me a 2x4. And if you do that, they'll use those weapons better. And there's like some weird like karma system or friendship system that will make them more motivated to help Frank on your way to the break room, the security room. And I love that feature. I mean, I don't think that it's necessarily needed to have the friendship thing, because you're only going to be with them for a few minutes. Like if you're escorting them from the Wonderland Plaza, which is probably the furthest thing from the security room, you're only going to have them for a few minutes. I mean, as long as they're smart enough to be able to take care of themselves, you're good. I mean, the friendship thing, I guess it's a bonus. It's cool. It's cool that it's there. They've also included a time fast forward thing, because there have been times in the original game where it's like, okay, cool, I've saved all the survivors and I have another like 5 real life minutes of nothing to do. I mean, like, yeah, I can run around, but it's like, well, I'm already in the security room. I don't want to go down to the Paradise Plaza for 5 real world minutes to come back up to the security room. I'll just hang out in the security room. So it is kind of nice that they do have that feature now, where it's like, okay, well, let's just fast forward a few minutes to get to the next event. I love that feature. How often would I use that? I don't know. Like I said, there's probably a few moments where I would use that. I don't want to take advantage of that. But it's nice that it's there. And I mentioned the controls are better. You can still switch back to the clunky controls if you want. I don't know why you would if the better controls are there. It's probably more fun to play that way, but you can if you want. If you want to have a more like authentic original experience, even though the AI is still smarter, you can still have that more authentic experience with this alternate control scheme. You can run and aim, or walk and aim at the same time. You couldn't do that in the original. You have to stop to aim, which I'll come back to that in a few minutes, but that's huge too. Makes things so much easier to be able to like walk down the hallway. You got your like handgun, bang, 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 as you're gunning down zombies on your way to whatever, or on your way to escort somebody. That's huge. So there are so many amazing things. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I got a couple more things. I have a list here that I'm looking at for like the pros and cons. They say they've added stairs on the roof to go to the vent that goes to the security room, which is huge, because let's just say you're transporting somebody on your back, or something like that. You gotta like take them off your back, climb up that little ledge there, call them up there, they climb up there, then you put them back on your back, and then you go the last like 4 steps to the actual security room. That's kind of annoying, but I just kind of dealt with it. But in this version, people said they added stairs to that, and I'm thinking, oh, that's huge. That's a major quality of life improvement. I love that. And also, every clothes that you find in the stores, once you put them on, it's automatically like registered in your locker in the security room, so you can switch to any of the clothes anytime that you want, instead of having to go across the mall to that one woman's clothing store to put on that dress that you want. You can just do that from the security room. Plus, they added some new skins. Like, I don't know what these characters are here that they're showing, but you can do that too if you want. And that's really fun to have more things to dress up as, other Capcom characters, whatever. I love that. One of the other amazing things is Otis actually talks, and he has words on the screen, and you can do things as he talks. You can kill zombies while he's on the walkie-talkie with you. You can, like, I don't know, you can actually do things, or you can skip his thing entirely. Whereas in the original, well, you can't defend yourself. You can run, and that's it. And if a zombie, like, smacks you in the face and cuts, like, the connection with Otis, he's like, don't cut me off, that's rude. I'm like, shut up, Otis. I'm in the middle of a zombie apocalypse here. Don't yell at me because a zombie attacked me. Like, just, especially when you're almost done with his, like, little speech, and you have to redo all of it. Like, Otis, get to the point. But in this one, yeah, you can actually, like, skip through that. Be like, all right, cool. Survivor, Paradise Plaza, this store. You got all the information. You can just see it pop up on the screen. All right, cool. I'm going to go do that. So that was another, like, huge improvement. So now we get to the issues. Because I praised this game for, I don't know, probably almost 10 minutes. I don't know how long this video is. I have a lot of fun things to say about it, but I have just as many issues with it. Some of these are kind of nitpicky. Some of them are more significant. Are they enough to deter me from buying the game when it comes out? I don't know. I'm still thinking about that, but I'm really conflicted because I do have some issues. Some of them are more minor, some of them aren't. They swapped out the entire voice cast to this game, which kind of makes you wonder, this is a remaster, not a remake. Isn't the point of a remaster to be able to enjoy the original game on a modern console or whatever? So why is there a need to change out all the voices? Especially since some of them are still voice acting. Steve Bloom voices Cliff, the Vietnam vet, and I'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But like, he still does voice acting stuff. They couldn't have hired Steve Bloom to recast that character? Why? Like, why did they go in this direction? And everybody hates Frank's new voice, and I kind of agree. Not bashing the new guy. I mean, he sounds fine, but he doesn't. He's not Frank. He doesn't sound like Frank. He doesn't have the same mannerisms that Frank has.
There's a helicopter coming. 3 days from now. At noon, it's my ride.
There's a helicopter coming. 3 days from now. At noon, it's my ride.
All the characters, their acting sounds, I don't know, more forced, or like they're just reading the script instead of acting.
What in the hell are you people doing? Run! Quick, move! Get over here! What in the hell are you people doing? Run! Quick, move! Get over here!
And I can really hear that, like, when Frank talks, when Brad talks. And it's a shame because, like, Brad and everybody else, they look good. But, I don't know, just their delivery just feels off. And maybe that's just because I know the original game so well, their inflections in their voice and stuff, I just know that so well that when I don't hear that, it just sounds weird to me. But the delivery just sounds off to me. Now, speaking of Cliff, they changed his dialogue probably the most significantly of every character, at least that I know of so far. I know there's a lot of the game that they have not shown yet, or that I've not seen yet in the remake. But Cliff was one of the bigger ones. So, remember, this game came out in 2006. So, like I said, gaming's been it's a little different. It's changed a little bit since 2006. So maybe one of the things that's changed is the relevance of Vietnam vets. Because Cliff is a Vietnam vet. He's fought in the wars. Cliff was in Vietnam. And so this zombie apocalypse has triggered some PTSD of, oh man, I am in a war zone. I'm in another war. I must be back in Vietnam. It's an unfortunate thing of mental illness, PTSD. It's a thing. It happens. It's unfortunate. But some people just snap. And so naturally, that's the reason why he's attacking Frank. And obviously, he calls Frank a filthy communist and Viet Cong.
You can't tell me, can you, fella? Oh yeah, I know why. It's because you're Viet Cong. I'm right, aren't I? You are nothing but a filthy communist!
But in this version...
Tell me, can you, fella? Oh yeah, I know why. It's because you're a mole. I'm right, aren't I? You are nothing but a filthy animal!
He's just a mole. He's a filthy animal, is what it's changed to. And in one of the videos I saw of this review, one of the comments read that it seems like a TV edit for kids, and that's exactly what that feels like. It's like, I understand that, I guess, being a communist in a negative way is bad in gaming culture, but it's not supposed to be pretty. This is somebody with a mental illness. This is PTSD. It's not supposed to be pretty. If it's offensive, that's part of it. It's not really your place to say what you just said and your traumatic PTSD experience offends me. It's who he is. That's a part of his like character. It's a part of like who he is. His identity is this unfortunate soul from the Vietnam War, and he went insane because of this PTSD. I don't have I might have some kind of PTSD, but I've not fought in a war, so I don't know what that's like. But it adds so much to his character, and now he's just generic army guy. Was one of the comments from one of the YouTubers I saw earlier today talking about this. And yeah, that's what it is. Like, I know why they changed that line. I'm not going to go into it. It's kind of more of the political stuff, but that one irritated me because that felt like such an unnecessary change. You can either look at him and say, "Oh, well, that's a bad guy. Let's kill the bad guy." He clearly, like, even somebody is a communist or like, "Oh, I hate this Cliff guy. He called me a filthy communist." Fine, he's a bad guy. Get rid of him anyway. Otherwise, he's, like I said, an unfortunate soul who's living out his trauma from 40 years ago. They also changed Larry the Butcher. I think that's his name. So, in the original game, yeah, his design's not flattering. But that's kind of the point. He's just a grotesque butcher. I mean, to me, he kind of looks like a fat baby, but they changed his race even, which I guess it's that they don't want to be offensive to other races, so they just offend white people? I don't understand this. I mean, isn't the point of, like, usually they do the opposite. Usually they try to get rid of white guy to add in like a black guy or Asian guy or whatever, but here they're replacing an Asian guy with a white guy. But why do they need to make that change? Like, again, it's a remaster. They changed so much about this. It's not even the same guy anymore. I gotta address the lighting issue, because that's another major issue with this game. And Frank's Widow Peak, he looks like he's in his 50s. I don't know how old Frank's supposed to be, but somebody said he's supposed to be like 35 or something. I don't know. I guess that sounds fine. But now he looks like he's in his 50s with like a receding hairline and gray hair because they made the lighting look so ugly. Isabella's another example. She's, what, like 20-something? And her hair's like grandma silver. Like, what'd they do to them? And I mentioned something about the controls making the game a lot easier, but I've heard some people say that that's actually a downside to the game, that it makes the game too easy. So, like, the running and aiming, let's just say that you're against a psychopath. Well, you don't have to, like, strategize, like, okay, I need to stand here, get 2 shots off, run away. You can still shoot him while you're dodging or running away or whatever. Makes it a lot easier. And I've also heard that you can level up too easily. So, like, when you're going through the helicopter segment at the beginning of the game, every picture you take is like double or triple the prestige points that you would have gotten in the original game. Some people said that they hit level 10 before the game really even starts. And that's like, whoa, that's really easy. Like, it's almost like, oh, that it almost, like, their comments are basically saying the game is no longer fun because it's too easy. I don't remember on what level I was when I finished the helicopter segment, but I don't know, I was probably like level 2, 3 maybe by the time the game starts. But for you to be like double that or triple that before the game starts, I don't know, it makes the game too easy. Maybe even to me, and I'm terrible at video games, by the way. I mean, you guys know that. You guys have been around on this channel for a while. You know how terrible I am at video games. And speaking of the photography, so Frank is a photographer. He's a journalist. He's covered wars, you know. And there's different categories for photos that you can take. So, like, you have the outtake for a funny thing that happens. So you put a bucket on a zombie's head. It's kind of funny. Or you have, what is it called, like horror or brutality or something, for something more gory stuff. You just slice the zombie in half, take a picture. Yeah, it's pretty gruesome. Erotica was one of the other categories for, I don't know, there's a girl with her panties kind of hanging out of her pants a little bit, or, I don't know, cleavage shots, or whatever. And a lot of people are saying that's going to affect the psychopath Kent's fight, because you need to give him a very erotic photo, which they'll probably just do either a gruesome photo or an outtake photo. Probably gruesome, because that's probably an easy enough thing to change in Kent's personality. But taking that out does affect how one character reacts in the game, which is kind of a big deal. I don't really care about the whole, like, erotica thing anyway. Like, yeah, if you want to take a picture of Jesse's boobs or whatever, fine, go ahead. The game's not stopping you from doing that. It's just not going to reward you. And Capcom says, when developing Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, we tried our best to create a game that would please returning core fans and appeal to new fans alike. As development progressed, we inevitably discovered we couldn't include everything from the original game. In the case of the erotica point system, there was something we discussed at length and decided to remove, not so much as response to a changing cultural climate, but because we felt there is no need to have a reward point system on this basis. And they also say, additionally, when considering Frank's situation, it is not an appropriate reward for survival and not a skill required of a journalist trying to stay alive for the next 72 hours during a zombie apocalypse. However, players will still have the right to choose their picture subjects freely, and even though they won't receive points, it is up to them to decide what photos they will take to represent their journey. So, that doesn't really make sense, though. They're like, well, that's not really realistic to a guy trying to survive a zombie apocalypse for 72 hours. But neither does running through a mall full of zombies, slicing them in half with whatever you find, wearing a teddy bear mask, and, like, a dress or something. Like, that's the whole point of this game, is to just be as over-the-top stupid as you can, and that's the fun of it. So it's so weird that they're like, oh, well, that's not really realistic in a zombie. Who would wear a teddy bear mask and a dress in the middle of the zombie apocalypse? Like, that's not the point of the game. The point of the game is just to be stupid, gruesome, funny. Like, that's what the game's all about. So that's just a really BS excuse, in my opinion. And like I said, I don't even care about the erotica thing. I'm like, it made me uncomfortable, actually. But it's still a feature that should be there because it was in the original. Because that's the point of remaster, is to be able to play the original on modern hardware. That's what a remaster is. It looks better, runs better, controls better. That's all you need to change. So yeah, I guess that's what I really have to say. Like, those are kind of my thoughts. Some of the good things about this game, the things I'm excited about. Some of the things that I'm not excited about because, again, it's supposed to just be a remaster. It's not a remake. It's a remaster. Keep it as faithful to the original as you can and just improve on where it needs to improve. And I mean graphics, controls, the survivor AI. That's kind of all you really need to fix in this game. But they really went in a weird direction with this, with some of the stuff. And the only reason why I'm making this video is because I adored the original Dead Rising. Like I said, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I played on the channel, and I don't get a chance to beat a lot of video games because I'm terrible at video games. And this is one I actually beat, and I've beaten it a couple times. I adore this game. And I want to see this game do good. But Capcom, you gotta change some stuff. And I mean, you gotta change them back to how they were or would have been, should have been. Because, I don't know, man. This... It looks beautiful. It looks fun. I don't know if I can buy it. I'm still debating. I might pick it up. after like a year when it drops down like $20 or something. I don't know, but I'm certainly not getting it on launch date because I'm heartbroken. I'm just legitimately heartbroken on. Look how they massacred my boy. Like that's exactly what's happening here with Frank and with Dead Rising. It had potential to be like my favorite game of 2024. I don't know now. So anyway, that was this video. I rambled on for a while, but I just had a lot to say about it because I just have a lot to say about this game. I adore the original Dead Rising, and by the way, like I said, I have played through the original and Dead Rising 2 both on this channel, so if you haven't seen them yet, check that out. I raged a little bit in Dead Rising 2, and I'm a little ashamed on how much I raged, but I still beat it, and I can still look back despite my rage and be like, that was a good game. I really like Dead Rising and Dead Rising 2, and hopefully I can play through Dead Rising off the record at some point as well, because those three especially are some of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, so anyway, that's my video here. What about you guys? Are you guys excited, or are you guys heartbroken about the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster? What are some of your favorite memories of the original? Post all that in the comments below. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when another video comes out. I don't know what the next video is. Probably my finale for Mario Party 4. Most likely. I don't know, though. So, subscribe and stick around for that. I also have a Facebook page where I post these videos on there as well, so you can like me on Facebook. I also have an Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. I always forget I post something until I make a video, and then I realize, oh yeah, I haven't posted anything on Instagram in like a year. But follow me on there anyway. I also have a Discord where we talk about video games and anime and Pokemon and post memes, talk about nostalgia. We got a lot of great stuff on Discord. So if you're interested, just say, I want to join your Discord. I'll send you an invite and we can have fun, hang out, nerd out. But until then, I guess that's all I really have to say. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.